Joining me now is former White House Press Secretary Ari Fleischer. Ari, great to have you on the show. Federal funding for research purposes. It's always good to see you, Ari. Research purposes. Now, I can imagine there's a lot of good things coming out of Harvard when it comes to research. I would hope for that kind of money. But I think it's really worth asking, what is Harvard teaching? What do they stand for? Do they stand for the values, the lessons, the form of governance that the founders created in the United States of America? And if the answer is no, then why are they getting federal taxpayer dollars?
Well, I do think there are a lot of good things that come out of Harvard and a lot of these schools. But the question is, why does that good have to be paid for by the taxpayers? Because it is good, because they do scientific research, because they are involved in some cutting-edge breakthroughs. The private sector would be delighted to partner with these universities to do it and save the taxpayers money. If the programs are meritorious, then the solution is to the private sector. If you can't get anybody to fund something, it's probably because it was lacking in merit, and so therefore the government does it. That's the fundamental issue. The government is too big, spends too much, and educational spending like this that could be replaced by the private sector or the charitable sector, other sectors, is a perfect example of why the government has got its fingers in too much of America's pie.
Okay, but let's for a moment presume that there is money well spent by the federal government, Ari, when it comes to funding research. We've been doing it for quite some time, and I would hope that federal government spending when it comes to research has yielded some results. That's worthy of its own deep dive. However, Harvard has sued the Trump administration, saying that pulling or freezing these funds, as well as the student visas, is a violation of its First Amendment rights. Now, if I invest in a company, Ari, if I invest in your company at some great level, presumably I have some say in what goes inside your company, especially if I am funding it to a great level. If the United States federal government, the taxpayer, is funding what amounts to, by the way, 16% of Harvard's operating budget, don't we have a right through our government officials to say, let's look at what Harvard is doing? And for the last couple of years, we've realized what Harvard is doing and what they're teaching and what they're allowing to foment on campus doesn't seem like something a shareholder would be pleased with in how their money is being spent at Harvard.
100%. And this is why some Christian universities and more conservative universities in America long ago said, we're not taking federal aid because we want to do on our campus what we believe in. Here's what Harvard believes in, even though they're getting taxpayer money. They believe in no due process for men who are accused of wrongdoing on campus. If you remember, the Obama administration threatened universities they would pull their funding, Title IX funding, unless in any judicial proceeding on campus, men virtually had no rights, and if they were accused of anything almost, that the men almost were always expelled from campus. They believe in having men compete against women, biological men compete against women in sports. The Ivy Leagues continue to do that, despite President Trump's executive order saying you shouldn't. The Obama administration insisted that be done. So when the Obama administration and the Biden administration were in power, they threatened to take away federal funds, and the Ivies and many other institutions were happy to go along with Biden and Obama's bidding. Now it's Trump using the same tactics, and they object. And what Trump is arguing for is much more in tune with the American people, such as men, biological men, should not compete against women in sports. These schools are fighting that. And that's why they're liberal havens, and that's a big part of it, too.
And just let's button it up with this, Ari. The truth is, I think, honestly, the truth is, the examples that you gave us, men competing in women's sports, even the anti-Semitism that's taking place on campuses, notably at Ivy League campuses, is symptomatic of a deeper ideology that has been grown, which has been fostered on these campuses, which is anti-American. And it is antagonistic to the values, the form of government, the founding ideals of this country. And I don't know whether or not that can be unwound. If you're the president of Harvard, I don't know how you go back and convince the Trump administration, no, we're a good place for the taxpayer to continue to fund what we believe.
Well, the bigger point here, and you just made it well, is for 40 years, conservatives abandoned Americans' campuses. Campuses didn't used to be the sources of liberal dogma, no conservatives allowed. If you show up as a conservative, you get protested, you get shut down and shot at, and you can't appear. You can't even get hired in most faculty at these universities if you have anything conservative in you. You have to be liberal to be accepted. Conservatives yielded until Donald Trump. And now they're making the fight on these campuses saying you need to be neutral, you need to be balanced. We're not going to accept this liberal indoctrination of all our graduating students. Think about all the speakers who just gave speeches on college campuses. Hardly a conservative among them. Their liberal havens have been carved out, and it's about time conservatives fought back. Higher education is too important to leave it to the liberals. Conservatives have got to make this fight. Donald Trump has started the path to make the fight. It needs to continue.
And once again, I think liberal and conservative is even slightly understating how anti-American so much of what has been fostered on these college campuses. And it's my humble opinion that American universities should be primarily educating Americans. Ari Fleischer, always great to see you. Thank you.